Let me say good night to everybody. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. Hope everybody's doing okay. Now, you would see from the title of the video that, and let me give people a little bit of time to join the live. But you would see from the title of the video that this is going to be a sort of reaction to, we're going to take a look at what Antigua and Barbuda was like back in 1952. So what I'm going to do here in the meantime, before we start anything, let me share this video. And I think you should, I watched this before. I think you should really watch it. It's pretty cool. It gets you, you know, a look at what, it gets you a bit of what Antigua and Barbuda looked like back in the day. Maybe you can recognize somebody if you can. I don't know. Maybe you might see somebody that is a part of your family that was around at that time. But the video was filmed in 1952. All right, and it was done by, you know, it was done by the British government. So, you know, we're gonna take a look at that. Very, very cool. I really suggest that you. I really suggest that you check it out. It's really, really cool. All right, so I'm just sharing it around to a few places in the meantime, and then we're gonna jump into it and take a look at it. All right, so yeah, don't touch that dial, as they say in Radio Land. Just give me a moment. Let me share this around, and then we are going to watch that video. All right, so that's a little bit. Boom. Let me send that. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, people, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at this video. Sit back and relax and enjoy it with me. It's a look at Antigua and Barbuda back in 1952. If you've ever seen this video before, leave a like on it for me. And don't forget to like and follow my page. Facebook.com/Kenny D Entertainment. KENNYD Entertainment. Let's go. The music is so old school, man. I'm telling you, you can tell that it's an old-timeish video.
This is the story of a visit to one of Britain's far-flung island colonies, Antigua, one of the most northerly islands of the Leeward Group. Here is a tiny island of great charm and rich in the history of the British Commonwealth. At the end of the deep, sheltered bay lies the island capital, St. John's. Its dominating architectural feature is the old cathedral, which stands prominently above the town.
When was the cathedral built, though? Anybody knows that? If you know when the cathedral was built, let me know. Post a comment as to when the cathedral was built, because I don't remember the exact year, but this is 1952, and the cathedral was already old at that time. You know, generally old, if you want to put it like that.
This old stone building, surrounded by its historic graveyard, has a richly timbered interior. From the cathedral steps, you look down one of the main streets, which runs to the waterfront.
That's the museum.
Nearby is the courthouse, typical of the colonial architecture of its period.
The museum now.
St. John's is a small, well laid out town, most of the streets running parallel to one another. Almost every day, there is a colorful street market. Here, the native people, for the most part descendants of old slave times, gather to gossip and make their purchases. A busy and colorful scene.
This is the market. Would this be Market Street? That's probably the triangle there where Papa Bird bus is now. I could be wrong, but would you think that is Market Street where Market Street currently is now? But
St.
this
John's
is
is typical of most towns in the British islands of the Caribbean area. There is little of architectural greatness about them.
this
For the
affect
most part, houses, shops and
Rectory
public
Street.
buildings have
It
been
is?
built
Is
more
it?
for utility than for decorative effect. The Negro population can scarcely be termed industrious. Nevertheless, they are skillful in many handicrafts, such as the exquisite beadwork, which is reminiscent of the...
You know, you can tell this is an old time video, just the way this guy is talking. The Negro population, let's go back and listen to what you just said there. It irks me somewhat. Listen.
decorative effect. The Negro population can scarcely be termed industrious.
The Negro population can scarcely be termed industrious. That's so disrespectful. Let's continue.
Nevertheless, they are skillful in many handicrafts, such as the exquisite beadwork, which is reminiscent of the African origin of these peoples. The island enjoys a healthy tourist trade, and where tourists gather, so must there be souvenirs for them to buy. The people of Antigua are not backward in meeting this demand, and a wide degree of originality is displayed in their work, much of which is made from shells and other natural materials. In order to encourage the development of local handicrafts, an organization has been formed to teach the young native girls the art of hand weaving. They work with local materials and make a wide variety of useful articles, which find a ready demand both with residents and visitors. This little island, only about 108 square miles in area, possesses a wealth of scenery. On the south side of the island, a country road takes the visitor to one of the most historic places in the whole of the British Commonwealth, English Harbour. This harbour is now no longer used, but in the 1700s it played an important part in naval history. The ruins of the old dockyard are now preserved by a society called the Friends of English Harbour. Nelson first anchored in English Harbour in 1784, and for the next 3 years Antigua was his headquarters. His house is now a museum. One of the most impressive buildings of the old dockyard is the naval officers' quarters, built over an enormous water system.
I mean, this building, you know, you got to preserve history, man. This is almost unchanged from that time.
Nearby are the ruins of the old dockyard buildings and slipways on which many a famous ship of the line has stood, bearing such famous names as Vanguard, Repulse, and Cornwallis. The site of the old capstan house is now reduced to a low wall. The capstans have recently been remounted by the company of a visiting ship of the Royal Navy. Anchors of old and famous ships reflect the greatness of British naval history. On the hills which surround English Harbour, there are many interesting ruins of the old military barracks of bygone days. Here again are monuments to the past glories of our military history. Today, Antigua's economy depends upon her agricultural assets. The island is fertile. Vast acres of sugarcane cover the land.
Now, let's stick a pin there for a second. This is 1952. And this man is saying that the island's main industry is agriculture, sugar, primarily. How far have we come from that, man? I mean, if you ask 50 Antiguans what the main industry is, 49 is going to tell you tourism. I'm not sure anybody would tell you agriculture. And agriculture, sugarcane, at a point in time, was our main industry and was the main industry of all Caribbean islands, really, that had slaves, particularly because they were there to, you know, enhance that feature of it. The island, as he described it, there was fertile.
Landscape. In the days of slavery, the mills were driven by wind power. Today, the scene has changed. The people are all free. The past evil days of slavery are buried. Modern mills and modern methods have taken the place of the old. On the big estates been introduced. Diesel or steam trains bring the cane to a fine, up-to-date factory. On arrival, the trucks are automatically tipped up and emptied. The cut cane is carried by a moving conveyor into the grinding mill. These sugar mills employ immensely heavy machinery. As the conveyor brings the cane into the mill, it disposes of it into powerful crushing machinery in which the juice is extracted. Sugar is not Antigua's only important crop. Wide acres of land are devoted to cotton. As in the East, so it...
You know what's funny? There was an article in the paper today with a farmer saying that we should look again at the exportation of cotton, look again at the cotton industry in Antigua and Barbuda. I didn't go too much into it this morning when I was on the show, but it's funny that that is being looked. We're looking at cotton as a major industry back in 1952, and somebody now saying that we should look towards bringing cotton back, or the exportation of cotton in Antigua and Barbuda.
In the West, the cotton is picked by hand, and as they pick, they place the cotton in large bags which they carry around their waists. When the bag is full, it is emptied into a sack and measured accordingly. The picked cotton is spread out on large tarpaulins in the hot tropical sun to dry and to bleach. This process takes only a matter of an hour or so, and when the cotton is dry, the tarpaulins are folded over so as to gather their fleecy burden into ridges or rows, thus making it easy to gather up and to load into baskets in which it is carried into the sheds. Every ball of cotton contains little black seeds. These have to be removed by hand before the cotton can pass on to the mill. This work is done in the plantation sheds. In the capital town of St. John's, there is a cotton ginning mill. Here, the cotton from the plantations passes through a teasing and combing process, after which it is ready to be baled and shipped. Antigua cotton is known as Sea Island cotton and is of the very finest quality. In the West Indies of recent years, there has developed a unique and extraordinary form of music played by orchestras known as steel bands. The band...
Hey, I can legit see people nowadays dressing the same way. They say fashion come back in style. It is what it is.
And instruments are made from discarded oil drums. The drums are cut into pans of varying depth. Some drums are shallow, others deep, depending upon whether they are required to make bass or alto instruments. The steel pans are heated over a fire. After they have attained the required temperature, they are tempered with water. Then they are hammered into the required shape. Next, the bottom of the pan is marked off in chalk into a number of sectors, all of which have been worked out by experience, which is perhaps a nice way of saying by trial and error. The marked out quarters are punched, hammered, and chiseled along each line of the pattern. Every band has its own distinctive colors and designs. These are painted uniformly on each and every band instrument. Every pan is tuned in a most accurate manner by gentle hammering and denting.
I wonder if the pans are tuned the same way. No, I don't know much about pan music, but I wonder if it's tuned the same way. You can see it's being tuned by ear, and they're working with the two instruments to find the right pitch.
When the work is finished, a sling is attached to each instrument so that it can be carried over the shoulders and held in position. The music of these steel drum bands is of a tone and quality which has to be heard to be believed.
Oh man, I wonder if there's anybody around from Hell's Gate that's in this. If you can recognize anybody from Hell's Gate Steel Orchestra in this formation here. If you recognize anybody from this, leave a comment. This goes to show how much music has changed and progressed. I'm not sure if the song that is playing in the background for the video is actually what they're playing, but it's not hard to believe that that's nowadays. When you think about steel pan, we think about soca, we think about some very rhythmic calypso and so on, and not necessarily what you're hearing there.
The West Indian Negro, after many generations, still retains the inherent qualities of his ancestors. Never is this more clearly demonstrated than in their carnival dances and celebrations, which can, if one cares to study the question, be traced back to some primitive tribal dance of his ancestors in Africa. In Antigua, this takes place in the masked whip dance, which the people perform in the streets with an almost primitive frenzy. The whole thing is indeed colorful and impressive to watch. The little island of Antigua has become an exclusive tourist paradise. Its rich variety of scenery, reasonably temperate climate, and not too distant position are factors which have made it popular with the people of the North American continent. On the northeast side of the island, there are wonderful bays and beaches, where a colony of American people have established a residential area. A splendid clubhouse serves this community.
On the northeast. I'm trying to
The
picture
wealth of
where
tropical
that is.
flowers and vegetation is amply displayed in the charming courtyards of these vacation homes. Antigua is no overdeveloped tourist resort. In fact, despite its invasion by people from other lands, it remains unspoiled, and the people of the island are determined to preserve all its natural assets. That is, in fact, Antigua's greatest charm. The beaches have nothing artificial about them. Here, the visitor can sunbathe the whole day long, and the blue waters offer all that the angler could possibly desire. The modern craze for goggle fishing has, however, reached Antigua. For those who indulge in this exciting form of sport, there are ample rewards because the waters round the island abound in splendid crayfish. Time passes quickly in this tropical paradise, and all too soon you must once more join your ship lying far out in the bay. A fast launch takes the visitors from shore to ship, and all who visit Antigua as they sail with the setting sun must surely look back towards the little island with many a fond memory.
All right, well, there you have it, guys. Just a little taste of something. I just wanted to share this with you. I came across this video and I just thought it was cool. I got a lot of engagement from the Oliver video that I did last night, and I have another one, but I want you guys to tell me, let me know if I should do a live with it right after this. So leave me a comment, comment on this video, or just go and like and follow my page. I'm actually just about 6 or 7 people away from 5,000 followers right now. About 6 or 7 people away from 5,000 followers. So leave me a follow in the next couple of minutes. Let me know if you want me to go and post that. Let's do that Oliver video. The one from last night was hilarious and it got quite a bit of engagement. So let me know. All right, I'll give if I get enough engagement, I will do so in the next couple of minutes. But this other one is pretty cool. This next Oliver video I have is pretty cool. It's actually the one where he was pretending to be a pastor. If you remember that one from back in the day, it's the one he was pretending to be a pastor. So leave a comment in this video, or go and like my page, go and follow my page. Let me see if I get some comments there. Give me some comments that you think I should go live with this, maybe in the next couple of minutes, right after this here, and I'll do it. If I get enough engagement, and if people want to watch it, people want to be a part of it, see my reaction, then I'll do it. If not, well, I'll just log out of Facebook for the rest of the night. So let me know. Let me know. All right. Anyhow, guys, I'm going to end this live for now. Thank you for those who tuned in. I'm also going to try to give you some, I'm researching and trying to work with a company that produces documentaries and different documentaries from across the world. Because I want to use like the night times like this when I'm not doing a different kind of live, that we can probably sit and watch a documentary together and learn some things. Okay. So yeah. I'm seeing some positive feedback for the Oliver video. I'm going to end this live in this video, then I might come back on after with the one from Oliver. So look out for my notification. All right. Peace.